My friends, welcome back to the second video. Now that we've gone through the reasons why you're here, we've talked about the problems, the pain, the possibilities that exist, and I've shown you those in the last video. So now that we know why you're here, it's time to talk about how do we get to where we want to go? Because right now there's a gap, okay? There's a gap or like a canyon between where you are and where you want to be. Whether that's, making an extra 5 or 6 figure income or firing yourself from your job, whatever the reason is for you being here and looking into this strategy, there's a gap that we need to cross in order for you to get to where you want to be. So now we're going to talk about that. And in order to create that new reality, you need 3 things. Number 1 is you need a path to follow. 2 is you need principles or certain mindsets in order to be successful. And 3, you need specific actions that you need to do in order to get to that new possibility that we envisioned in the last video. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. In this video, we're going to talk about the path, then we'll talk about principles and the actions you need to take. So I'm going to try to make this fast, but let's talk about the path. What is the path we need to follow to get to where we want to be? And I shared with you my path. We shared briefly in the last video, I talked about this. The path that I chose was the path of this overage strategy. And we're going to dive deeper into that right now. Okay. So again, overages, just to recap and review, remember, the overage strategy is where we help homeowners that have lost their property to a foreclosure. We help them recover lost equity and return that money to them. And in exchange for our services, we receive a commission. Okay, it's whatever we can negotiate. I always like to give the majority to my clients. And so there's no set commission. It's whatever you can negotiate. I've charged anywhere from 5% on the low end, but that was for a 6-figure overage, up to 45% on the high end. That's my cut. Okay, anywhere in between that is what I've done. Each case is different. But again, remember, that's the service we're providing. We're helping these people, providing a service for them, doing all the work to recover these funds that are rightfully theirs. It's just the government does not want them to know about it. And why is that? It's because if a certain time period goes on and nobody claims these funds, the government gets to keep it. That's the basic gist of it. And so the government has no interest in really going and making a really good effort to try to find these people and let them know that there's money owed to them. Usually what they do is they send a letter to the address of the property that was foreclosed on. And by the time that happens, the homeowner is usually long gone. And so they never receive notices. And so that's, again, part of our service is to alert these people and let them know that, yes, they lost their house, but there is something they can still get out of it. And that's our service that we provide. Okay, so let's talk more about, so the overage strategy can be broken down into 5 simple steps. Step 1 is to create and find leads. Step 2 is to conduct research on leads. Step 3 is to contact leads. Step 4 is to close leads. And step 5 is to profit or process claims. Very simple. Obviously, there's a lot more involved in each step. And you can learn more about that at the end of this. But this is the business in 5 simple steps. Create leads, conduct research on leads, contact leads, close leads, and then profit. So let's go into more in depth, a little more on these steps. Okay, step 1, create or find leads. What does this look like? Basically, how you do this is you're going to be tracking foreclosure sales, whether they're tax or mortgage foreclosures. Let me explain briefly the difference. So there's 2 types of overages, okay? There's tax sale overages and mortgage overages. A tax sale overage is when a homeowner stops paying their property taxes. The county can seize that property and sell it at an auction, usually a tax deed auction. There's also other things like tax liens, but we won't go in depth in that right now. But that is a tax sale overage, is when someone stops paying their property taxes, the county auctions off the property and it sells to a third-party bidder for more than what is owed to the county. Okay, so a quick example would be, let's say somebody owes $10,000 in property taxes to their county. The county auctions off the property to recover those property taxes, and the property sells for $50,000. So the county is going to take 10. So now there's $40,000 left over. That is the overage. That is a tax sale overage. Okay. So that's the first type. Second type, mortgage overages. Mortgage overages are when somebody quits paying their mortgage payment. And so the lender initiates a foreclosure. Usually they'll hire an attorney's office, or if in some states it's through the courts, and a sheriff will conduct the foreclosure. And again, it will go to auction where investors can have the opportunity to bid and to purchase the property. And let's say, for example, there's a house with a $150,000 mortgage on it. That's what's owed to the lender or to the bank. Let's say it goes to auction and an investor buys it for $200,000. So the lender or the bank takes their $150,000. Well, now there's $50,000 in overage money. And so that $50,000 should go back to the homeowner. That's a mortgage overage. Okay. Remember, tax sale overage is generated when someone quits paying their property taxes and the county sells it for more than what's owed to the county. Mortgage overage. Somebody quits paying their mortgage payment and the bank auctions it off, and then it sells for more than what's owed to the bank. Okay, those are the two types of overages: tax sale overages, mortgage overages. I like to refer them as TOs and MOs. Tax sale overages are TOs, mortgage overages are MOs. Easy way to remember that. Step 2, conduct research on leads. This is where this consists of skip tracing. Skip tracing is where you are just finding the contact information for your potential client. You're basically playing the part of a detective, because we have to track these people down, right? Obviously, if their home has been sold, sometimes they can be hard to get a hold of, because maybe maybe they have other debt collectors coming after them, or maybe they're still trying to find a place to live. And so it can be difficult to find these people. But with technology nowadays and the internet, it's not that difficult, really. And so we use internet searches, social media, paid subscription services to track these people down, find their phone numbers, find email addresses or current mailing addresses, so that we can reach out to them and contact them and let them know about the money that's owed to them. So this is step 2, is conducting research and finding our client. This is, for me anyway, this is the fun part. I love to do research. I love to track people down. It's like, there's that saying is, love the chase or love the hunt. This is the hunt. This is the chase part. And it can be really fun and exciting. So that is step 2. A good, true resource for finding people is truepeoplesearch.com. All you need is the name of the person you're looking for and an address, which you can get the address from the foreclosed property. And you can get a lot of information, whether it's phone numbers, emails, current addresses, names of relatives, neighbors. That is a good website to use, truepeoplesearch.com. And it's free. Step 3, contact leads. So this is when we're going to either call someone on the phone, send them a letter, send them an email, reach out to them on social media, such as Facebook or LinkedIn. Whatever it is, we just need to get in touch with them, because if we can't contact them, then they're never going to know about their money, and they're never going to know about our services. So this is very important. This step is probably the most important, is actually contacting them and offering our services to them. So that's step 3. Step 4 is to close leads. This is where basically they agree to receive our services. And what that looks like is we just have an agreement that they would sign, basically outline what our duties are to them, what we will be doing for them, And in this agreement, we'll also have the percentage split that we agree to. So let's say, they agree to a 70-30 split. So they would receive 70% of the funds that we recover, and we would take 30%. It's whatever you can negotiate as far as compensation goes. Also in this step, depending, there may be some other forms and documents we'll need to have them sign, depending on the state that you live in and the county. And so this is where they would also sign all the required paperwork needed to submit the claim to the proper authorities. So that's step 4, is closing the lead, getting all the documents signed. Step 5, the final, is to process the claim. This is basically where we submit all the paperwork to the proper authority. Sometimes we'll use attorneys. I like to use attorneys because they save me time and money. It is well worth the cost to pay an attorney, because then I can focus more on finding more people and helping more people. And then the attorney can focus on all the paperwork and stuff like that. You don't always need an attorney. I always try to use one that saves me time. So, and then, once everything is submitted, we wait the time period to see if any other claims are come in, or if not, then we wait until we receive the check from the county or the government, whoever is holding the funds. And this is where we profit. Okay. That's step 5. So those are the 5 steps. I'll briefly walk you through this example, a real life example, and going through each step. So this was a deal that I did. This was a mortgage overage. So how I found this lead is I was tracking the foreclosure sales, and I saw that this home sold for $175,000. The opening bid was approximately $150,000, and that was the amount that was owed to the lender. And so I knew that there was going to be approximately $25,000 in overage, and I was able to confirm this via public records. Now, when all was said and done, after attorney's fees and stuff like that, the amount that was available to recover was $23,462.64. So a little less than 25. So that was step 1. I was tracking the sales, and then I found this lead. Step 2, I began to research this property, and I quickly found out that the homeowners had both passed away, and that's why they weren't paying their mortgage. I couldn't find an obituary online, and so it was very difficult at one point in time, because I thought I wasn't going to be able to find someone or find the heirs. Luckily, I was able to contact the neighbor, and I found out that the homeowners did not have any children, but there was a sister that was coming to and from the house, cleaning out the property. And through the neighbor, I was actually able to get in touch with the sister, which leads us to step 3. Through the neighbor, I was able to contact the sister, who was the living heir of the homeowner. I told her the situation, told her that because she was the heir, because there were no children, that she may be entitled to the funds, and that I would like to help her. So that was step 3. I got in contact with her, told her the situation, offered my services. Step 4 is I sent her the paperwork. She reviewed everything, and she agreed. She said, let's move forward. And I believe we agreed to like a 55-45 split or 60-40 split. I can't remember, somewhere in there. And she signed everything, sent it back to me. And that leads us to step 5. So once I had all the paperwork signed from her, I enlisted the help of an attorney, made sure everything was good. He drafted everything to submit to the proper authorities for the claim, to claim the money. And the cost of that was, less than $1,000. It was not very much money at all, especially considering what I netted on this deal. So I got an attorney. He submitted everything, and about 4 months later, we received a check for $23,000. I took my portion, which was $10,558, and then I sent her the rest, and everyone was happy. And that was step 5. We profited. So that's kind of going over the steps in a real life example for you. So this is the path. Follow the 5 steps, and you can start doing deals like this. Okay. So hopefully that was beneficial to you. The next step now is we're going to talk about the principles, the mindset you need to have in order to be successful to pull deals, to pull this off. to do deals like these, to create that new reality we talked about in the previous video. Okay. So the next step now is click the button below, go to the next video where we'll talk about the principles you need to have to be successful and to create the new reality for yourself. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.